A small plane registered out of Darby crashed this morning, killing the 2 people on board near San Diego. The city of Whitefish has decided to demolish a popular building near Depot Park. And a cherry red Tesla Roadster is on an orbit around the sun.
Powered by the Montana Television Network. This is the 10 o'clock news on KAJ, Montana's news leader.
Good evening and thanks for joining us. I'm Don Fisher. Northwest Montana continues to have a big snow year, particularly Whitefish Mountain, which is expecting to beat its season average for snow. Whitefish Mountain Resort's season average of about 300 inches of snowfall each year, and this year they are on pace to see more than that, with 245 falling already. Those 245 are the most at this point in the year the mountain has seen in the past decade. Last season, the mountain saw over 400 inches, and they are on pace to break that. The mountain has seen more than 3 feet of snow in the past week and received more than 90 inches in January alone, topping the 10-month year average of 66 inches. And that snow is likely to make it into the valley as well, as winter storm watches have been posted for the Kootenai Cabinet, Flathead Mission, and West Glacier regions. But for more on what you can expect in your area, let's toss it over to Chief Meteorologist Aaron Yost, who has our first forecast. Aaron.
Yeah, a lot of us are really excited to know that there's more snow in the forecast. It is going to come in waves and not all at once. Unfortunately, likely going to see a rain-snow mix here before we start to see those snow levels dropping. Right now, we are dealing with some scattered rain and snow across some of northwest Montana in a northwesterly flow, but we are seeing winter storm watches be posted all over the northern half of the Treasure State as we brace for this next Arctic air mass intruding into the region, along with some incoming moisture. Once again, expecting to see the biggest impacts right along the Continental Divide. Here's a look at some preliminary snowfall totals. Got more details on the way.
All right, thanks, Aaron. 2 people and a dog were killed Tuesday when a plane crashed into an industrial area adjacent to Gillespie Field shortly after taking off for the KAJ Airport. The pilot is identified as Dr. John Longhurst, and his wife Cheryl was his passenger. They owned homes in Orange County and in Montana, and Dr. Longhurst worked at the UC Irvine Health Center. The couple would often visit San Diego to see their son, a doctor employed at UC San Diego Health. Officials say the Cessna single-engine plane took off from the Gillespie airspace in Santee, California just before 7 a.m. this morning, but crashed shortly after takeoff.
Some folks on the ground said they heard some kind of engine throttling, and the airplane made a turn, it looks like, and came back and was actually traveling eastbound when it lost power and landed here in the yard.
And officials from the Federal Aviation Administration are on scene, and the investigation will be handled by the National Transportation Safety Board. The city of Whitefish has denied a request from the Chamber of Commerce to keep a well-known building near Depot Park. On Monday night, the City Council came to a decision on the topic from the Depot Park Master Plan. After almost an hour of testimony, mostly in favor of keeping the building, the council decided it would go through with the demolition of the structure. The building is located across from the O'Shaughnessy Theater on the corner of Railway and Central. The building was formerly the City Parks and Planning Department after being sold to the city from the Parkside Credit Union in 2009. The chamber felt it was the best place for a tourist center and added that Whitefish needs a visitor center since the economy is so heavily based on tourism. The city responded by saying that creating more green space in the park was more important than keeping the building. Councilor Katie Williams made a motion to postpone the demolition and consider the lease, but the motion was shot down when no other council members spoke in its support. Kalispell is featured in Where to Retire magazine as one of the top retirement destinations in America. Kalispell has been growing rapidly for over a decade now, with many projects and plans from their downtown planned to the construction of a new elementary school. With this growth, Kalispell has seen a rise in people coming to retire, and Kalispell is being profiled in a feature titled 8 Lovely Lake Cities. Editor of the magazine, Annette Fuller, said many relocating retirees seek the benefits of being near water without the coastal weather flare-ups that can often occur near the ocean. The article will be featured in the March-April 2018 issue, which will be available nationwide on February 13th. Flathead County has the second fastest growing economy in the state next to Bozeman, and in part thanks to the presence of the Flathead Valley Community College. This according to the University of Montana Bureau of Business and Economic Research, who held its annual Economic Outlook seminar in Kalispell on Tuesday. The seminar in its 43rd year, and this year's theme, the future of higher education in Montana. BBER Director Patrick Barkey from UM gave the presentation and says while other counties are experiencing a weaker recovery from the recession, Flathead County is seeing sustained growth. He credits most of this positive effect to the growth of the Flathead Valley Community College.
Connections between the programs at Flathead Valley and the local economy are really state of the art. I mean, you look at the quick reaction time and the ability of Flathead Valley to adjust its curriculum and its offerings to tailor it to the needs of employers is something that I would imagine the Commissioners of Higher Education probably wishes the other universities around the state could do as good a job.
And Kalispell was the 7th stop on the seminar's tour of 9 cities, which kicked off in Helena and wraps up in Havre. Another Republican who wants to try to unseat Democratic U.S. Senator Jon Tester officially became a candidate on Tuesday as he paid his filing fee at the Secretary of State's office. Former State District Judge Russell Fagg of Billings showed up in person at the Secretary's Capitol office and paid his $1,740 check to appear on the June 5th primary ballot. He's the 3rd Montana Republican to make that leap in the U.S. Senate race so far this year. As many as 5 or 6 candidates may be in the Republican primary competing for the party's nomination to challenge Tester, and other candidates include State Auditor Matt Rosendale, who has yet to pay his filing fee, and Big Sky businessman Troy Downing. Fagg spoke with MTN News shortly after he filed and said he's telling fellow Republicans that he's the best bet to take on and defeat Senator Tester this fall.
I think I'm the most electable in November. 4th generation Montanan, 22 years as a district court judge, former Republican legislator, endorsements from Governor Roscoe, Governor Martz, Governor Stevens, Congressman Hill, Congressman Rehberg. That is the goal of Montana Republicans, is to defeat Senator Tester, and I think I have the best shot at doing that.
And the deadline for candidate filing is 5 weeks away. The Missoula Sheriff's Department says that it was not arson that destroyed a popular restaurant west of Missoula in December. Undersheriff Rich Marcelli tells us their investigation revealed no criminal conduct was involved in the fire that destroyed KJ's 9 Mile Roadhouse restaurant. The Missoula Sheriff's Office issued a search warrant to look at the cell phone records of the restaurant owners to investigate their possible involvement in the fire. But Marcelli says while officials have not pinpointed the cause, they also have not reached a conclusion. The incident remains under investigation. And it was Red Alert Day for community health centers like Partnership in Missoula today as they continue to advocate for legislation and reauthorize their federal funding. If there's one thing Montana's representatives are agreeing on this week, it's that these federally qualified CHCs play a crucial role in Montana's health care. MTN's Augusta McDonald has more about the risk that thousands now face if federal funding is not authorized and what our lawmakers are doing about it.
There is a lot of concern about Congress's failure to reauthorize the federal funding that supports community health centers like Partnership. This is a big deal for Montana because community health centers statewide serve about 10% of the state's population. What makes these health centers unique is the way they provide both health care and social services to patients regardless of their ability to pay.
Support community health centers.
Employees wore red Tuesday to bring awareness to Thursday's congressional vote to reauthorize funding for community health centers. In Washington, D.C. this week, all 3 of Montana's representatives, Democrat Jon Tester and Republicans Greg Gianforte and Steve Daines, stood together to solidify their support for the CHIME Act that would ensure funding for CHCs and several other critical healthcare programs like the National Health Service Corps.
Without action, without Congress taking action, CHCs will lose 70% of their funding nationwide. Washington, D.C. needs to get this done.
At Partnership Health Center in Missoula, that means losing close to 11% of their operating budget. Progress slowed at Partnership while funding has been uncertain.
We are able or willing to expand programming, look at other sites. The community needs assessment came out relatively recently. There's lots of need in this community.
In Missoula County, about 15,000 people receive care through Partnership. 106,000 people in Montana go to CHCs for their care, and 7.9% of patients statewide are American Indian. 4,636 patients are veterans, and a majority percentage of federally qualified health centers serve people at or below the poverty level.
The thing that we do here is really focus on health and well-being from a holistic standpoint. So So we look at our patients not just as, you have diabetes and high blood pressure, but you also have, issues with your housing and your food.
CHC professionals work to manage physical, behavioral, and dental care alongside these social aspects of a person's health.
Augusta McDonald, MTN News, Missoula.
And there are 16 health centers statewide waiting on this vote, and we will be watching Thursday when it happens, and we'll update this story when that comes. Coming up after the break on KAJ, a lot of snow and Arctic air in store for the rest of the week. Aaron has the latest on the winter storm watches posted in our area. And later, a cherry red Tesla Roadster is on an orbit around the sun. Stay with us.